I'll always remember that day like it just happened yesterday. Emily sat me down like she was getting ready for a casual chat, but what she said was far from casual. She tells me, all calm and collected, that she wants a break. A real break. She needed a month to see what being with another guy was like. We were at the kitchen table, and she's there, sipping wine, her fingers elegantly tracing the glass like it's just another day. I need to be sure, she said, her blue eyes pretending to look all sad. I love you, but I love him too. I need to see what being with him is like before I can decide. I felt something inside me crack, but it didn't fully shatter. Not yet. You need to be sure, I said back to her, my voice kind of empty. She nodded, insisting she didn't want to toss everything we had on a whim, only to realize later she made a big mistake. That's why she needed this month, to sort herself out. Sort out what, though? Like I was just going to be hanging around waiting for her as the backup plan if her new romance didn't work out. So you want me to just hang around? I asked, gripping the table tight. She sighed, making it seem like I was the one being unreasonable. I'm not asking you to wait. I'm asking you to see this is the best way for me to make the right choice for both of us, she declared. For both of us. Her words were so bold, it was almost admirable in a twisted way. That's when it hit me. This wasn't an accident. It was part of her strategy. She thought she was pulling the strings, thinking she had the upper hand over us both. At that moment, I hit a realization. Not out of rage, but with crystal clear understanding. Emily was playing her game, thinking she was the one calling the shots. She never saw it coming that I could upend the entire game board. I kept my cool. Okay, I said, standing up from the table. Her eyes widened. Okay, she echoed, uncertainty spilling into her voice. I nodded. You need time? Fine. Take it. Emily hesitated, probably thinking I'd argue or beg her to reconsider. No chance I'd give her that. I just cracked open a beer, taking my time with a sip. She watched, speechless, licking her lips nervously. I know it's hard to hear, but it's the mature thing. It's what's best for us, she mused. I almost laughed at that. Yeah, mature, I muttered under my breath. She flashed that irritatingly confident grin, believing she had won. Then she stood up, kissed me on the cheek, and whispered, I'll be back in a month. And with her bags already packed, she walked out. As soon as the door closed, I got busy. I already knew his name, Ethan Crawford, a so-called free-spirited entrepreneur she'd bumped into at a networking event a few months back. I thought it was just some harmless flirting. Boy, was I wrong. I didn't realize how selfish she could be. I decided to dig a bit deeper. His business, barely keeping afloat. His finances, a total joke. His reputation, a tangled web of gossip about shady dealings and unpaid debts. And she's risking our relationship for this guy? Ridiculous. But I uncovered something juicier. He had a vulnerability, and I planned to make the most of it. First stop, I paid a visit to my lawyer. Emily had no clue that our joint account was now halved overnight. Plus, the divorce papers were drawn up, ready to go the second she made her choice. And when she'd come crawling back, assuming I'd be there with open arms, she'd be left with absolutely nothing. Her family had always been in my corner. Her parents, her sister. They all thought highly of her marrying me. So I made sure they got the full scoop. I invited them over for a chat, casually spilling the reality of how Emily wanted a month to explore her options and then decide. Her mom's face was unforgettable. Her dad, silent fury. Her sister was already capturing screenshots of Emily's Instagram, full of new beginnings posts with Mr. New Interest. I let them stew in the mess, taking in the shocking truth that their perfect daughter was actually a conniving, unappreciative cheat. I needed Emily to believe that when she returned, I'd be waiting as planned. So I played the part of the heartbroken husband well. Just a single message from me each week. Hope you're doing okay. Thinking about you. Miss you. She lapped it up, replying half-heartedly with stuff like, Miss you too. Hope you're all right. This is tougher than expected. Just need more time. More time, really. Take your time, darling. Meanwhile, when you decide to return, there'll be nothing left here for you. She strolled back in with a confident grin, walking through the door like she never left, as if she'd been on a brief trip and was ready to pick up where she left off. Her luggage hit the floor with a heavy thud, and she proclaimed, "I've made my choice." Leaning back on the couch, I swirled the bourbon in my glass and replied, "Oh, really? And what might that be?" She looked so pleased with herself. "I choose you," she insisted, dripping with supposed sentiment. "I figured out that what we have is the real deal. I needed some time to see it, but now I know. You're my home." She moved in closer, reaching out, but I didn't budge. Instead, I smiled and delivered the news that turned her world upside down. "Emily," I sighed, "I didn't choose you." In an instant, her confidence disappeared, and she started unraveling right before me. Her eyes blinked rapidly, her lips moved but made no sound, and confidence fell away to reveal a childlike mix of confusion, fear, and panic. "What, what do you mean?" she whispered. I let the truth sink in as I lazily swirled my drink. "While you spent a month figuring out if you preferred me or another guy," I said evenly, taking a sip, "I decided whether I'd even let you back in." Her hands started to shake as she stepped towards me, thinking getting closer might fix everything. "You're just upset," she tried with a shaky laugh that didn't connect. "We can talk it over, can't we, baby?" I put my drink down and stood, cutting her off. "No, Emily, we can't." She froze as reality hit. She'd made a gamble and lost. As I walked past her, I picked up a manila envelope from the table and handed it to her. She recoiled, already dreading its contents. "Divorce papers," I said smoothly. "Just need your signature." Her mouth fell open, and her breast became shallow. "You had these ready?" "3 weeks ago, just in case." Her face paled. "Were you planning this all along?" she asked, her voice shaky. I shrugged. "You left me in limbo while you tested the waters with someone else. Did you honestly think I'd just sit here waiting for you to decide my fate?" Tears formed in her eyes, but I knew it wasn't out of love lost. It was panic. She wasn't heartbroken. She was shocked because she misjudged, thinking I'd wait around. Emily's fingers trembled as she leafed through the divorce papers, her voice uneven as she asked, "You're serious?" I nodded. "You have 3 days to sign them," I said, walking back to the couch. "If not, I'll file without you, and you won't get a dime, Emily. I made sure of it." Her eyes widened with alarm. "What do you mean I won't get anything?" She was finally understanding what mattered. She hadn't realized what I'd been doing while she was off with Ethan, expecting she could just slip back into her old life. As soon as she left, I secured my assets. Our joint account? Split. She still had access to her own funds, but our significant savings were moved beyond her reach. The house? Still mine. She thought divorce meant a payday, but forgot one vital detail: the prenup. When we got married, she questioned it, whining about our future. But being cautious worked in my favor. She grumbled and signed, and now that one document was about to change everything for her. She clung tightly to the papers, breathing quickly and unevenly, barely whispering, "No," as she shook her head. "No, you can't just leave me with nothing." I leaned back, watching the desperation on her face. "Why not?" I asked. Her lip quivered. I made a mistake, okay? It was just a test. I needed to be sure." "You needed to be sure?" I chuckled in disbelief. "Emily, do you hear yourself? You walked out on our marriage, spent a month with another man, and now you expect me to just overlook it?" She pulled back, feeling cornered without any leverage. "You're not the one calling the shots here," I said, my voice level, almost uncaring. "You lost that right when you took off. You can't just show up acting like the loyal spouse because things fell apart with your boyfriend." Her face twisted with hurt, but beneath the distress, I saw the reality. She was more upset about the loss of the security I offered than about losing me. Emily assumed I would always be there, ready to welcome her back if things went south with Ethan. But the world she walked away from had changed. "What if I refuse to sign?" she asked, her breathing unsteady. I shrugged with a sly grin. "Then my lawyer will deal with it." Her expression hardened. "You're really going through with this?" I nodded. Emily wiped her eyes, trying to pull herself together. "And what about Jason?" she asked, invoking our son's name as a last resort. I almost chuckled. "Your family," I corrected her. "Jason knows what happened." Her body went rigid. "He does." I leaned in, resting my elbows on my knees. Did you honestly think I wouldn't tell him, that I wouldn't explain why you felt the need to check out other options? Her face fell. He, he knows? It's not just him, I went on. Your mom and dad, your sister, your friends. They all know. Horrified, she covered her mouth with her hands. Oh my God! You wanted to see how things were on the other side, Emily, I remarked, tilting my head. Hope you enjoy the plunge. She collapsed into tears, gasping, her shoulders shuddering under the weight of her choices. I stood up and headed for the door. You can stay the night, I said without looking back, but by the weekend, I want you out. She sank to the floor, clutching the divorce papers with shaky hands. Stepping out into the cool night air, I breathed deeply for the first time in years. I was finally unshackled. She was a memory and I had come out on top. Emily had always needed to be in control, steering conversations, emotions, and me throughout our time together. She walked into any room like she owned it, but now that was gone. I saw it in the way she leaned against the kitchen wall, holding the divorce documents as if they were a death knell. Those tears weren't for lost love. They were for lost dominance. She wasn't grieving me. She was lamenting her lost chances. I left her there, offering no comfort, no tissues, no words of reassurance, nothing. She'd made her choices, and I let her deal with the consequences. The next morning, the string of desperate messages started. I found 3 missed calls when I woke up, and by the time I'd finished my morning brew, 5 unread messages piled up, each more desperate than the last. Please, let's talk. We can fix this. I didn't mean to hurt you. It was just a mistake. Don't go through with this, please. I'll do whatever it takes. Can we at least discuss it before you file? I took a sip, reading her words for what they were. Sad. She still didn't get it, treating this like some negotiation, as if I'd compromised my self-worth because she finally had to face the music. I didn't reply, just went on with my day like it was any other. By midday, another message came through. I broke it off with Ethan. It's done. I want to come back. I laughed. Sweetheart, you think that changes anything? The final twist of the knife came that evening. She walked into the living room, completely different, humbled, with all that bravado gone. Her hands shook as she set down a cup of tea, pretending like we were about to have a touching conversation, like this was still her place. She sat across from me. I inhaled deeply, ready for the words I knew were coming. It was a strange mix of anticipation and relief. She finally spoke, her voice just a whisper. I made a mistake. I just watched her, staying silent, as she worked through her confession. I needed to see if what I felt with Ethan was different, she admitted, her voice faltering. I thought I might be missing out on something, but I wasn't. I already had everything right here. She reached across the table, hesitating as if she needed permission to extend her hand. I pick you, she whispered, her voice wobbly. I love you. I acted foolishly and selfishly, and I know that now. The room was so quiet that I could hear the clock ticking behind her. I let the quiet hang in the air a bit longer, making her sit with it. Eventually, I gave her a smile and broke the silence with words that I knew would hit hard. It's too late for you to choose, Emily. She jerked back, her mouth moving, but no words coming out. I leaned back in my chair, watching her. You act like you're doing me a favor, I said smoothly, as if I should be thanking you for picking me after you've been with someone else for a month. Tears welled up in her eyes. It's not like that, she tried to argue, but I cut her off with a laugh. Emily, do you really think I care how it was? I shook my head. You don't get to pick me. I'm not your fallback option or a prize because the guy you left me for didn't work out. She gasped, struggling for breath. Enough, I said firmly. No more excuses, no more trying to justify yourself. You thought you could put me on hold while you lived your fantasy. Now you realize you lost and you expect me to take you back? This time she cried real tears, not those manipulative ones I had seen before. These were real because, for once, she was losing control. I can change, she whispered, her voice cracking. I can make it right. I stood up and she froze like she was waiting for my final say, and I gave it to her. Take 3 days to pack up and leave. She completely deflated, realizing she had lost it all. When Jason came back from his job at the auto shop that night, I told him everything. Not just about Emily leaving, but how she thought she could just return like nothing had happened. He wasn't even surprised, just nodded and said, "Did she really think you'd wait for her?" I laughed. "Yeah, she did." Jason shook his head with a grin. "Wow, she never really got who you are." "Nope," I agreed, pouring another drink. "She sure didn't." Jason patted my shoulder. "She'll regret this for the rest of her life." I grinned. "She already does." The next day, Emily signed the papers. No more begging or games, just a silent acknowledgement of her defeat. By the weekend, she was gone, and come Monday, she was just a memory. After that, Jason and I turned the page. The house felt lighter, the days felt brighter, and Emily, well, she tried reaching out through text, but I didn't bother replying. She attempted to twist the tale with mutual friends, painting herself as the victim, but no one was buying it. She had her chance at happiness, and she blew it. I didn't need to seek revenge or humiliate her. She did that on her own, and the silence was the most fitting consequence. Emily disappeared from my life as quickly as she had left that first night, thinking she had everything figured out. But arrogance only holds until the illusion shatters, and hers did. In the weeks after she moved out, she pretended to have it all together. Friends said she maintained a front, went to brunches, shared about her new chapter online, pretending to thrive. But everyone could see she was floundering underneath it all. As expected, she went back to Ethan, the guy she left me for, believing he was the better choice. But Ethan wasn't the dream she imagined. Once she was fully enfolded in his life, she quickly discovered that Ethan lacked both stability and reliability. He was just another guy deep in debt, struggling to make it month to month, with his dreams out of reach. I had done my research. Ethan's so-called business was a mess, his apartment rented, and his lifestyle sustained only by credit and loans. Suddenly, Emily wasn't the exciting diversion anymore. She became just another responsibility in Ethan's unstable life. She couldn't manage everything on her own, so she decided to move in with him, thinking they'd start anew together. But just a couple of weeks later, he kicked her out. She didn't spill the beans, though. I found out through the grapevine. Friends saw her crashing at someone else's place. Before long, everyone was talking about how she was on the hunt for a job, trying to restart in a town where everyone knew her story. Then she tried to reconnect with me. Not directly, of course, because her pride wouldn't let her. Instead, she started liking my photos again and replying to old messages with a casual, "Hope you're doing well," as if she thought I'd be open to rekindling things. I didn't bother answering. I felt she wasn't worth my words. Silence seemed enough. Life with Jason continued. The place felt different without her. Brighter, quieter, just better. We resumed our Sunday barbecues. I laughed more often, even went on a few dates. Jason was cool with it and just chuckled when I brought it up. "About time," he joked. Emily naturally heard about it. Out of nowhere, after months of silence, she called. Not a text or an email, but a real call. Her name popped up on my phone. I almost let it go to voicemail, but picked up to hear her voice again. She was already sobbing before I uttered a word. I just needed to hear your voice," she cried. "I don't know why I messed things up." I let her talk, allowed her to let out all her pent-up regrets. She whispered, "I miss you. I miss us." I just smiled, a cold smile she couldn't see. "No, you don't," I replied calmly. The silence stretched on. She realized I was right. She didn't miss me. She missed the security and stability I provided. But she didn't actually miss me because if she had, she wouldn't have left in the first place. After that pause, I decided it was time to end it. "I have to go, Emily." I heard her breath catch. "Wait, just—" But I ended the call, and that was the last time we talked. Emily faded into the background of my life, a ghost of a mistake I wasn't going to make again. I built something better, met someone who saw me as more than just a fallback, but as a real choice. Jason learned from it too, becoming stronger. He understood, like I did, when someone shows you their true colors, believe them. As for Emily, she spent years trying to fix her reputation, but the memory lingered. She wasn't the star anymore. She was the one who let everything slip away thinking she was above it all. But me, I didn't regret a thing. She thought she was choosing between two guys, But in the end, we had both moved on, leaving her in the dust. And that was the real kicker.